What does it actually take to eat vegan, to go plant-based, and to do it every single day for the rest of your life? If you are new to exploring plant-based vegan food, or even if you've been doing it for a while, you've probably heard me say here on the show that 8 out of 10 people who stopped eating meat went back and started eating it again. You see, I actually think that there's a combination of things going on, and some of it really is just misinformation. It's a misunderstanding, or maybe not asking the right questions. Well, as somebody who's been eating vegan for decades now, I've discovered a number of kind of quote-unquote secrets, or things that have been very successful at helping me to eat vegan really for the past 20 plus years. And as I've interviewed guests here on this podcast and talked with people who have been doing this long term, I've seen many similar traits, similar qualities, and specific things that they've done that I've also done. Well, I'd like to share that with you during a free 7-day vegan plant-based challenge. And the cool thing is, I'm doing it all live on Facebook. So here's how you can sign up for it. Simply go to mindfulvegan.com/7day. Take this challenge and discover for yourself what's important for you as you explore great vegan plant-based food. Welcome to the Mindful Vegan Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Dillon. This show is all about vegan food. Specifically, how is it that we bring great vegan, plant-based food into our life? Let's go even deeper than that. How do you bring great vegan, plant-based food into your life? The guests that I have on this show are here to provide you that incredible information, and typically it's somebody that you may already know, that you've seen in magazines, or you've seen their book, or maybe you own their book, or maybe you've seen them on television, and as they've talked about different things, they've mentioned that, oh yeah, they eat vegan. Well, they come on this show and share with us their thoughts and ideas, and it's a way that we can gather more information to make your journey, your adventure into eating great plant-based vegan food that much richer, that much more enjoyable. Well, today we're going to a whole new level. I'm bringing you 2 people that have just begun their journey of eating vegan, plant-based food. And what's really cool about this is, if you've been eating this way for a while, I imagine that you will connect back to your original intention and when you first started eating vegan plant-based food. And if you're brand new to this, you'll get a chance to hear directly from somebody who has just begun their journey. You see, as we listen to others, whether they've been eating this way for a few weeks or for decades, we can learn from them and we can deepen our path. You can deepen your path, your connection to eating great vegan plant-based food. I'm really excited to share with you our guests today. The first will be Eva Marie Sanchez, and then Deirdre Yost. They're going to share their story, their journey about eating vegan food, and the new adventure that they are on. And as you listen, you hear that excitement, those fresh eyes, so to speak, of somebody who's understood and is now on this new exciting journey. Let's hear first from Eva Marie as she talks about when she first started eating vegan, plant-based food.
I have been vegan since March 4th or 5th. I am not sure exactly which day that was, but that is when I committed completely.
And what is committed for you? What does that mean that, you're eating this way? What exactly is that?
Well, I'm not going to say that I'm perfect, of course, and it's just that I had committed at that time that I will not buy or acquire anything whatsoever that had animal products as an ingredient or base. And even things that I had at home, some of it I still ate for a little while, and then, it probably took about 3 weeks to say, no, I cannot eat any of that anymore.
Why did you decide to start eating vegan?
I was what I called ornithotarian for many years. I only ate chicken. And, and of course, dairy, I did not know any of the issues with dairy. And it was actually a different medical issue that had really nothing to do with anything that veganism would be. I was trying to check something online about lowering my IOP, which is your interocular pressure in your eye, and it came up with a couple different types of foods that help with that. And I thought, well, I've got to find recipes on how to cook those foods. So let's look at vegans because they know how to cook vegetables. And I started watching some of the vegan videos and going on to blogs and vlogs and everything. And it kept me up for the next 2 nights, just going through everything. And at that point, it ended with, wow, I cannot eat any more of that.
Next, I'd like to introduce you to Deirdre as she talks about her journey to eating vegan plant-based food.
On June 27th, it will be a month. I am eating a lot of, I guess you could say, fake meats right now, especially helping with my transition. I decided to go vegan overnight. So I didn't have any, I know a lot of people take steps into it. I know a lot of people transition slowly, but I just went cold turkey.
And why did you decide to eat vegan?
I am working in the veterinary medical field, and my entire life, I've always been very against animal abuse. It's always sickened me, and I've always just cringed at the thought of it. And so Nicole Arbor, one of my favorite YouTube personalities, she actually came out with a video called Dear Vegans, pretty much bashing vegans. But it prompted me to start researching it, and it just, I don't know, something clicked in my head with me working with animals, trying to do the best I can to help animals. It just seemed extremely hypocritical for me to be pitting animals on my plate and eating them, knowing full well how they treat and abuse the animals. And it didn't make any sense to me.
Whenever we begin something new, oftentimes we have a preconceived idea about what might happen. Well, when it comes to eating great vegan food, my guess is if you're brand new to this, you have some thoughts on what it might be like. And some of that may be true, and some of it may not. Let's find out first from Eva Marie what she had as a preconceived idea.
That's really funny. It was and I don't want to say healthy just because vegan food is very healthy, but it was the crazy health nuts that only eat sprouted grasses and green juices and mushrooms and not normal food, not real food.
And what is one thing about eating vegan that did happen that you did not expect?
Energy level went way up. I feel better physically all over. I don't think I've lost weight, which probably would be nice to happen, but that's not why I was going vegan. And so it's just, I feel so much better. And little issues that I had just taken as part of my life had gone away. The certain kinds of upset stomachs with certain foods or constipation and all these things. And it's like, yeah, I don't have any of these things anymore. Even a lot of my joint issues, it's like I feel better.
I saw Freely the Banana Girl on YouTube, and she eats mostly just a whole bunch of fruit, and I thought that's what it would be. I'd be like, I was kind of like, how am I going to survive just off of lettuce and fruits and veggies? And so when I made that transition, I was like, oh, there's a whole like array of food that I can eat. It's expanded my horizons cooking wise. Like I've never cooked more. Okay, I've cooked more in the past 4 weeks than I have my entire life, and I'm 24. So
What is one thing that you thought would happen when you started eating vegan that didn't happen?
I thought I would crave cheese. I hear a lot of people saying that they really crave cheese. They couldn't give up cheese and they can't go vegan because they don't want to live without cheese. And honestly, I have not craved cheese or cream cheese or anything like that since I went vegan. Mostly because there are amazing vegan substitutes that I have found. And they're so much more healthier and they actually taste better, in my opinion.
And looking at this transition time, or actually for you, as a transition in one day, that was it. What has been helpful for you to be here now and looking at, okay, I've done this for a number of weeks. What is one thing that really connected for you to help you to stay with it?
I am part of a Facebook. I'm part of several Facebook groups for vegans, and the support that I get from them, it's just phenomenal. On days where I feel kind of just, I don't know, I kind of feel down, I can post on there and people will help me and they'll help me get through it. Like I broke my foot about a week and a half ago, and it was a very hard time, and I just had tons of people supporting me and helping me and saying, hey, you can continue doing this. Just because you hurt your foot doesn't mean you can't be vegan. Because I didn't know, I couldn't get up, I couldn't really walk around, I didn't know how I could cook and all this other stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. And I remember that post, actually, that there was this moment that I remember thinking like, oh, okay, that's an excuse. It's a good one. Like, here she is. She can't get out of the house. But is that the moment that you give up in that moment? And you didn't. You went forward with it. That's
Correct.
So great.
And another big thing that's helped push me through is my stepdad died a month and a half ago.
I'm sorry.
About probably a week and a half, 2 weeks before I decided to go vegan. And I'm prone to depression. And I was very, very depressed when I started going vegan. And coming out of the depression didn't cross my mind. I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to go vegan to, help with my depression, help with my anxiety. But literally 6 days into being a vegan, into eating a vegan, having a vegan lifestyle, I lifted out of that depression. I feel more fulfilled than I ever have before. I feel like I'm actually doing something to help.
Checking back with Eva Marie, she shared these thoughts around what really helped support her with her journey to eating plant-based vegan food.
I think it's an empathy for the ones that are affected. The biggest example I could give was right after I had announced that I'm going vegan. A friend had stopped at a store. We were studying, and she had picked up some drinks and some candy, and she came back, and she's like, "Here, I got this for you," and threw me a Milky Way. And I just kind of sat there and I was staring at it, and she goes, "What's the matter? That's your favorite candy bar, right?" And I'm like, I can't eat that. And she's like, "I'm sorry. Well, I didn't mean to, but I got it. You can eat it now." And I just like, I don't know. And I sat there for the longest time and was trying to work, and I kept looking at it, and all that can come to my mind was the calves. And when I was a very small child, I had decided how horrible veal was, but I had never understood that I was still contributing to the veal industry by drinking milk and eating cheese and all of this. And I just finally, it's like the heartbreak of the calves and everything just got to me, and I just pushed it away. It's like, no, I'm sorry, I can't eat that. And I have not looked back.
Now, you mentioned that, you weren't going to be drinking grass juice and sprouts and things like that, but do you eat mostly plant-based? Is it processed, or is it a combination of vegan foods for you?
It's mostly the whole foods and plant-based. I've tried a couple of processed things. I'm not out to get it, but I get curious like anyone. I actually, I've had like the vegan ice creams, and just this last week I went and bought some vegan butter, just because, I just want some butter. But I knew I didn't want butter because that actually would make me sick. But I just wanted to try some and got it. But otherwise, I don't get the meals. I don't do any of that. I just make it with whole ingredients or the fruit and vegetables and rice, that type of things.
As you eat vegan plant-based food, you're most likely stepping away from what you have done your entire life, which is to eat animal products. And you're also stepping away from what society does. We talk about it here on the podcast, that social norm of what most people are doing. And one area where that really becomes evident is in our family, in our friendships, in the coworkers that we have in our life, the people that are closest to us. So what happens there? The trend that I see, what I typically see others doing and others talking about, is this is your opportunity to now help others to see what you've seen. And so they show them the movie, show them the pictures, tell them about it, give them a book, give them a magazine. Well, I'm going to say something a little bit differently here, and I realize that this is very different than what most people are saying. Don't do that. Absolutely don't. And here's why I say that. Because I don't see it being successful. I've been vegan. I've been eating this way for over 2 decades, and I can tell you in that time, my ability to convince anybody else that this is how they should eat has been met with complete frustration, aggravation, and gets overwhelming at times trying to defend, explain, and rationalize why it is I do what I do. And also, I'm afraid that a lot of people are burning out because that frustration, that overwhelm is tough to be with. So why burn yourself out? I gave it up a long time ago. I stopped trying to convince anybody that this is how they should eat, that this is the way that would be best for them. And instead what I've done is I focused on my path. Now, here's the cool thing. As you focus on your path, others start to notice. And they start to see that things are different for you. And then people start asking you about, how do I do this? You see, it's that old analogy of, do you want to be a tugboat that forces the boat into the harbor, or would you rather be the lighthouse that attracts all the boats? Focus on your path, and you will be much more successful in the end. So, let's talk about relationships. Let's talk about family. Well, I asked both Eva Marie and Deirdre about their interactions with family and what the response has been. Let's hear from Deirdre first.
Honestly, it hasn't been very supportive. I know the first time I told my mom that I decided to go vegan, she said, "Oh, so when you come home for a visit or whatever, and I make tater tot casserole, you won't be able to eat it." And I was like, "If you make it vegan, because there's plenty of ways you can make just about anything vegan." And she was like, "But I won't." And so the lack of support and the lack of, I guess, respect for my friends and family has kind of gotten to me. But the reason I'm doing this is, I guess you could say in a way, not really above them, but it's bigger than them. It's bigger than myself.
Yeah, wow, that's powerful. I'm glad that you have that outlook because, I mean, as you know, you listen to the podcast or you listen to others as well, that they probably in time will get there. Let's hope that it's a real struggle for people, I think, to accept, and it's change. And boy, we as humans do not like change.
No, we don't.
My family actually was fantastic about it. They listened to me because I think my daughter especially is kind of like, well, if you're taking the time to learn about it, then you must know the information that you're getting. And if you're doing this, then you must have learned something important. And so she's kind of like, okay, I'll go vegan. But then she started learning and she's like, yeah, she's vegan. And all the kids, they're just like, okay, we are vegan, no problem.
We are bound to run into obstacles. It's just something that happens no matter what we're doing in life. But one way that I have found to really overcome an obstacle is to think ahead. Think about what might be coming up soon in our life where there could be a potential obstacle or a roadblock. Because if I can think about it now, in this moment, I can then overcome it in the future because I'll already have a plan. So I asked both Eva Marie and Deirdre to share an obstacle that they might be running into really soon. By the way, when you're done with today's episode, how about you think about a potential obstacle that you might be running into, maybe over the next week or even the next month? If you think about it now, what solution could you come up with? And then that obstacle is no longer an obstacle. Instead, you know what to do. Let's hear more about an obstacle that Deirdre was working with, and then we'll check in with Eva Marie.
My dad is coming home from China in a couple of weeks, and he wants to go out to a steakhouse, and he wants to go out to all these places like a Cajun house and everything. And so the fact that he wants to go out a lot more than what I do right now is kind of nerve-wracking because I haven't really been going out. I haven't been to restaurants, so it's kind of like, okay, how am I going to make sure that this is vegan when I'm at a steakhouse?
And so what do you think might be a way that you could, looking at, let's say the steakhouse as an example, what could be something that you could do that would allow your dad to still be there, but you to be there as well? How could you overcome that obstacle, do you think?
Well, actually, I posted that very similar question on the Facebook the other day, and I said, hey, my mom and I are getting together at Cheesecake Factory. Do y'all have any suggestions? And several people actually posted apps on your phone that give you suggestions at certain places that you can look at before you go. So that way, by the time you're there at the table, you can be like, hey, this is what I want. Hold the cheese, hold the eggs, add, I don't know, mushrooms or broccoli or whatever. And so that way you can pre-plan your meal.
Well, next week, actually in just a couple days, I'm leaving for Orlando, Florida, and I will be gone for 11 days. So that will be a big traveling experience of what is available. And I've tried to do my research on looking at the restaurants there in the area. I've had to call the hotel manager for the banquet arrangements and say, you've got vegetarian and gluten-free, you need some vegan, and got that arranged. And I mean, I think I will have obstacles, but I think I'm ready to meet them.
Hearing someone's journey to eating vegan food is always fun, and I find it really inspiring to understand their journey. And one thing that can be great fun, of course, is the food itself. So I asked both Eva Marie and Deirdre about what is their current favorite dish. Let's hear first from Eva Marie.
It's just food. I really like, okay, here's something that I did have to alter for becoming vegan was tamales. And, I can't have the fats in it and everything, or the cheese and that type of thing. And so I've been making tamales with beans and as extra filler to kind of make that creaminess that the cheese doesn't have, is using some diced potatoes in there and then lots of spices and enchilada sauce, and they taste like any tamales that anybody would ever get at a vendor, and they are wonderful and completely vegan.
Vegetable curry stir fry with tofu occasionally. It's pretty much exactly what it sounds like, just steamed and sauteed a variety of vegetables and then brown rice or white rice with tofu.
With everybody that starts eating vegan, of course, there's these great stories and also the reasons why it is that they're doing what they're doing. And oftentimes for people, as they start off eating vegan, they kind of come into it in different ways. It may be something that intentionally they said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And they set forth a date, they write things down, they plan it out, and they go for it. And other people just slowly evolve. But what's also important as you start doing this, especially if you want to do it long term, is to think about it that way. In other words, will you do this for the rest of your life? Let's first ask that question to Deirdre.
You know, honestly, with me working in the veterinary field, I feel like it's a lifetime thing. This isn't just a diet. This isn't just, oh, I want to do this to make myself feel better. It's not about me. It's about the animals and about the environment. And I want this to be a lifetime thing. I don't want this to be, oh, I want to lose 15 pounds, so I'm going to go vegan. It's not about that.
Oh, well, at least through the end of this life.
Great answer. That's a beautiful answer, actually. Do you have any fun stories or any cool things that you'd like to share that you've either noticed or that may have happened as you've been starting this journey and kind of on this brand new path now?
I just really am finding that I am getting so much more educated about nutrition, not just vegan nutrition, but nutrition as a whole, because I'm trying to search out the reasons for this and the reasons for that. And comparatively, I am now inwardly laughing and crying at the meat eaters that have these beliefs that are so absurd. And it's like, no, you really need to learn. This is what we've been told all our lives. The system has lied to us. This is the truth. And I like becoming aware.
That becoming aware, really tuning in and knowing what's important for you is so helpful along your path to eating great vegan food. Well, I also asked Deirdre about one of the things that she may have noticed that she found fun or exciting about now eating vegan. Let's hear from her.
Well, I have met a lot of people, and tomorrow, actually on Saturday, I have formed a get-together for singles in the DFW area, and for vegan singles, I should clarify, and we're all going to get together and just have fun, have drinks, socialize. And that's always been a very big problem for me because I'm very melancholy. I'm an introvert. And so it's kind of like pushing me out of my comfort zone. And so I'm really excited about that.
Wow. Well, I am super impressed with you. I am thrilled at, first of all, the fact that you're doing all of this is powerful. The fact that you are doing a meetup group and a gathering out of your comfort zone. Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. A little nervous, but I'm excited. And I just moved to the Dallas area probably about 3 or 4 months ago. So everything in my life is changing at this exact moment. So for me to be able to go out and meet people in a very like-minded personality is just, I'm beyond excited. Also, like I said, kind of scared, but
yeah, but you're doing it, and that's so important, especially if, just moving into a new community, you're now starting to connect. You'll start to develop relationships and roots and connecting in with people. And then the change is then fun that, oh, look at all these people I've met.
Yes, where I come from, there's 100,000 people in the city that I come from, and there's 7 million people in DFW. So that's a big difference.
Well, thank you very, very much, Deirdre, for everything that you shared with us today. I really appreciate you taking the time to express your journey and your pathway here of eating great vegan food.
Thank you for having me on here. I'm really excited. Bye. Take care.
Well, as we say goodbye to Deirdre, let's also say goodbye and thank you to Eva Marie.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you.
As I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, I'm offering a free 7-day vegan plant-based challenge. Now, if you're brand new, this challenge is going to be fantastic. But even if you've been eating vegan for a number of years, you are going to find incredible information out during this 7-day challenge. One of the nice things about this is it's going to be live. That's right. On Facebook, you and I will be able to gather live, and I'll be sharing this information with you, and you'll be able to interact with everybody that's a part of this group. So to sign up, it's really simple. You can go to mindfulvegan.com/7day and find out more details. You can also visit right on Facebook, facebook.com/mindfulvegan. Once this challenge opens and begins, I'll close the door and nobody else can enter. This is a private Facebook group where you and I will be able to get together for this free live streaming. So do get over there right away and join today. Well, I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. It was really fantastic connecting in with Eva Marie and with Deirdre to hear their story, to hear their journey, and I hope that it helps you connect to your journey. Eating vegan, plant-based food is the greatest thing that we can be doing for so many incredible reasons, but most important, for your reason. Why is it that you want to eat vegan, plant-based food? That reason is extremely important to you. Don't let go of that. Hold on to it. I know you can do this. Just follow people who have been doing it, and you too can be eating vegan for life. Speaking of that, go enjoy some great vegan food. Take care all. Bye-bye.